Brooklyn's playoff hopes vanished after a tie with Carolina.
Yes, so now there's only a few teams left battling for those last two places, and Dallas Trinity can book their place if they win today. Anything less and it will go down to the final game of the season, and for Fort Lauderdale United and Spokane it goes down to the
Super League Week 34 is here, and we've got a packed Saturday for you around the league as we inch closer to the playoffs. Tonight, we welcome you to Beyond Bankcard Field at NSU for a matchup between Dallas Trinity and Fort Lauderdale United, brought to you by All Year Cooling and Plumbing. Alongside former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, I'm Bridget Howard on the call with you tonight. Before we dive into this matchup, let's get a look at the standings presented by Delta Airlines. Gary, the Super League is in its final weeks. It's heating up, and earlier today, Brooklyn's playoff hopes vanished after a tie with Carolina.
Yes, so now there's only a few teams left battling for those last two places, and Dallas Trinity can book their place if they win today. Anything less, and it will go down to the final game of the season. And for Fort Lauderdale United and Spokane, it goes down to the final day anyway.
Well, once a goal-scoring machine, this Fort Lauderdale side in their last 3 games have recorded 35 shots, 11 of those shots on target, but only 3 goals to show for it, Gary.
Been a bit unlucky. There's players like Hamid who've normally scored regularly who are struggling to hit the back of the net, and they're going to have to rely on the pace of Kiara Locklear up front to try and unbutton things. Bockham there, she can pop up with goals as well, but they've got to find a way through. But otherwise, they could see their playoff hopes disappear over the next 2 games.
Well, Baptist Health's player to watch for Fort Lauderdale is Addie McCain. She leads the team with 10 goals, but she hasn't scored in a minute, and this team would benefit greatly from a goal or 2 from her tonight.
Wouldn't they just? 1 goal in the last 11. Before that, 6 in the previous 11 or 12 games. So she was on a great run of form, lost it. Can she get it back just in time to get them in the playoffs?
Well, it's a big match tonight for Dallas. If they win, they clinch a coveted spot in the playoffs.
They've got players who can score. Cam Lancaster's both a scorer and creator. Ali Thornton, of course, down the right-hand side tomorrow. How can they all link together? How can they be scoring the goals that they need to get this win today and make sure they get into the playoffs?
Well, for Dallas, our sights are set on Cameron Lancaster, who's making her 11th start. She has 2 goals and 1 assist this season.
Crucial player, I think, just hanging behind Ali Thornton. She can score goals, as you mentioned, 2 already, both against Brooklyn. In March, she can assist. She's going to be a critical player, linking the midfield to Ali Thornton.
Well, it all comes down to this. Dallas Trinity 1 win away from locking in a playoff berth, with a fired-up Fort Lauderdale side looking to defend their home pitch and inch their way closer into the playoffs. A ticket to the postseason on the line. The crowd is ready and kickoff is moments away. Grab your popcorn, buckle up, and don't go anywhere. Dallas and Fort Lauderdale is next.
Hi, I'm Sloan Smith. We love our Florida sunshine, but a hot house? Definitely not. At All Year, we offer same-day AC service and installation. Need to stay cool? Yes, all year. Need help today? Yes, all year. 0 down financing? Yes, all year. We're South Florida's #1 for comfort because our family is serving your family all year. Call us today at 833 all year. That's 833 all year.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way.
Focus!
Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power.
Whatever it takes.
Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Balm's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Welcome back to Beyond Bankard Field at NSU. A gorgeous night in South Florida for a major matchup in the Super League as Fort Lauderdale welcomes Dallas Trinity to town. Tonight's player walkout is presented by Amarant Bank. Our head official tonight is Sean Tahini, who's handling the coin toss at center pitch, brought to you by Beyond Bankard. Well, tonight's starting lineups are presented by LaCroix Sparkling Water. First up, it's the home side. Gary, a handful of new faces in the starting 11 for Tyrone Mears.
Three changes to the team that drew at DC Power. Julia Grosso's in, Tati Fung and Cheyenne Allen. Felicia Knox and Jasmine Hamida out and not available. On the bench, however, is Daria Rashi. Just keep an eye on the left-hand side there. I think McNeil and Allen might change positions. McNeil, very effective in attack in the last match.
Yeah, picked up her first goal on the season. Much needed equalizer for this Fort Lauderdale side. All right, well, for the away side, some big changes to that back line for Dallas Trinity. Both Hannah Davison and Addie Palomo not in the starting lineup.
Yeah, those are the two big changes, and the only two changes from the team that lost to DC Power 2 weeks ago. Julia Dorsey comes in, and Sierra Hinson. And Paloma is available. He has a small injury, so she might have limited minutes. Unfortunately, Hannah Davidson not taking any part in this match. And keep an eye on Celie Strawn. She might join Cam Lancaster in trying to assist Ali Thornton up front.
Yeah, Ali Thornton leading that golden boot race, tied with Mia Corbin, 12 goals on the year. Also has added 3 assists. But Fort Lauderdale, I mean, this is a big matchup for them. They're still in the playoff hunt as well. 3 points would be massive for them. And Dallas Trinity hoping to pick up a big-time win on the road to clinch a playoff spot. Again, so many different playoff scenarios at this point with games winding down. But if Dallas wins here tonight against Fort Lauderdale, they will clinch a spot in the playoffs.
Massive motivation for the visiting side for Fort Lauderdale. It does still go down to the final match of the season, though.
Well, we're underway here in South Florida beyond Bankard Field at NSU. I take that right back. We have a false start. We're going to redo that. And here we go. Dallas starts off with it. Gary Bailey, Bridget Howard with you on the call this evening. Julia Dorsey getting her first touches. She's one of those changes to that back line. Gary, as a former keeper, to have so many different changes on a back line, especially when you're fighting for a playoff spot, what is that like?
It's not easy because defense is a lot about communication. It's about speaking to your defenders. It's also about instinctively knowing where they are, where their strengths are. Are they good at holding players up? Are they quick in chasing back if they get beaten? If you're constantly changing, and sometimes you've got no choice but to change through injury, then the question is, how do you adapt? And the quicker you adapt, obviously, the better.
And both of these teams have seen changes to their back lines. For Fort Lauderdale, the big story this spring has been Lavini Vaca, who went down with a season-ending injury. And since then, this back line for Fort Lauderdale has looked different every single match. Dallas, as we mentioned, Addie Palomo, she is available tonight, but not in the starting lineup. And Hannah Davison out with a lower leg injury.
And this is a crucial match for me, not just because obviously Dallas Trinity can make the playoffs, but I think it's the form that both sides need to get out of. Because if they get to the playoffs, you want to do well, and the form they're in. Fort Lauderdale, 1 win in 8. They had no losses in the previous 8. They were brilliant. They were right at the top. Oh. It's an unnecessary giveaway.
Yeah, so a miscue there from Julia Dorsey. Put too much on that ball, looking for Madison White, and it will be a corner kick for Fort Lauderdale United.
On that point of only 1 win in 8, Fort Lauderdale will take any gifts that are given. And a corner is a good opportunity for them to get a ball in that danger area and see if they can't make Dallas Trinity pay for that error.
So Tati Fung, who's making her 3rd start of the season, gets set to take the corner kick. Fung plays it low. And it'll be a goal kick for Dallas Trinity. I think some Fort Lauderdale players are maybe hoping for another corner kick.
Yeah, Laurel Ansbro at the near post there. She was amongst a whole group of Dallas Trinity defenders. She felt it came off the visiting team, but that's not how the referee and the assistant ref saw it.
Well, tonight's keys to the game are presented by Amerant Bank. Gary, enlighten us. What do you have for us in this one?
Well, as far as Tyrone Mears is concerned, attack the wide areas. And that's because Dallas Trinity play with 3 at the back. So they have those 2 wing backs that push up and they leave space either side of the pitch. So he says, let's attack that for Dallas. And speaking to Pauline McDonald, she says, we've got to play through their press. If we do that, then opportunity, space, and everything else will open up for us.
So a reset here for Fort Lauderdale. High arcing ball. White easily comes up with it. And there's a look at Kiara Locklear. I'd say she's like the Energizer bunny for this Fort Lauderdale side. She has so much pace up top for this team. She's got 4 goals, 4 assists on the year, making her 13th start.
She is so quick up front. She is lightning. And yet, in a couple of games recently against Lexington, the 1-0 win away, and then the 4-1 loss at home to Brooklyn, she got through 3 or 4 times and didn't score. So she needs to be more clinical.
Tamara on the ball, took it away from McNeil. Tamara deflected by Fort Lauderdale. And looking for Locklear up top, but that ball trickles past. Walker picks it up. And to your point of attacking those wide areas, and especially just in the counterattacks, that's where Fort Lauderdale can be so dangerous, especially looking at this opponent in Dallas where they've got a 3-back. They can really exploit those wide areas. So something to look for in those transition moments.
Absolutely, especially for the likes of Shania Gordon and Cheyenne Allen out wide. They want to get into those spaces and then try and just get a nice little through ball for Kiara Locklear. As we said, she gets into great positions with wonderful pace. She just needs to finish them off a bit more. If she is clinical, not only can Fort Lauderdale get to the playoffs over the next 2 games, they can go on to win the championship because she has that pace that once she's away, it's very difficult to catch up with her.
Abogugu in a tussle on the far sideline. Abogugu making her 21st start of the season. She's been a staple in this Dallas lineup all season long. 4 goals, 6 assists.
Got a couple of name changes with Chioma Abogugu. She says one way and the coach said a different way, so excuse us if you've heard us say her name differently before, but this is the way she says it, her voice, and it's on her website, so we're going to go with that.
We heard a voice recording.
Yes, of her voice.
We're doing our best, folks. Sabrina McNeil with a ball across the box. Tati Fung. Addie McCain wins the header. Allen plays it on the ground. McNeil in the right pocket. Bodies collide, no whistle. Fung collects. Amber Brooks heads it out. Another corner kick on the way for Fort Lauderdale United.
Amber Brooks doing well to block there. Just felt that Tati Fung could have maybe picked someone out in the center of the box there. It was a good block by the captain, Amber Brooks. It could have been a dangerous cross. And that opportunity lost there to Tati Fung.
All Fort Lauderdale corner kicks are presented by All Year Cooling and Plumbing. Tati Fung set once again. Fung. Long ball across, off the crossbar. And Sabrina McNeil on the end of it. Another corner kick on the way for Fort Lauderdale United. But Gary, what'd you see there?
It's a fantastic header at the far post. Knocked straight back, aiming no doubt for someone in the box, but it actually drifts onto the crossbar there, and Sabrina McNeil nearly tucks it away. Just a good block on the line.
So 3rd corner kick of the evening here in the 8th minute. Fort Lauderdale has been on the front foot so far. Tati Fung plays it in again. White punches it out. Sean Tahini didn't like something in the box. So a restart for Dallas.
That's good pressure, and Maddie White scrambling there. The one hits the crossbar, the other one she has to punch under huge pressure. That's what you want to do if you're the home side. Just put the opponents under pressure from set pieces, and they've done a good job in these first few minutes at Fort Lauderdale United.
also does a nice job getting out of trouble.
By the way, got to mention Cameron Brooks there with a header. She got up high above everyone at the far post, and I think she was heading it back into the center of the box, but it just drifted onto the crossbar. Unlucky for her. If it had gone in, she would have claimed she meant it, but you'll take any goal, and that was a very decent effort from the center back there for Fort Lauderdale United.
So Fort Lauderdale weaving out of traffic. Turns the ball over in the center of the pitch. Abogagu. Strawn. Tamara. Boy, does she have speed. Tamara trying to beat Serena McNeil. Cleared out by McCain.
That's a good contest because McNeil is very quick as well. Tamara, a real threat down the right-hand side for Dallas Trinity. I'm looking forward to seeing those two go head-to-head for the rest of this match.
Lancaster. McNeil doing the work defensively. Fung turns it over. So Fort Lauderdale in a couple of matches has been caught in their half of the field, turning the ball over on just loose balls. And other teams have been able to capitalize and scoring goals just off those miscues. And you see Dallas has certainly watched their film, pressing high. So tonight's injury report is presented by Baptist Health. We talked about Lavini Vaca with the season-ending injury for Fort Lauderdale. That's been a big knock to this back line for Dallas. A couple for them as well. Lexi Missimo, the big-time get for this Dallas team, goes down with an injury just a couple weeks ago. Hoping for a speedy recovery for her.
You were talking a moment ago about Fort Lauderdale and how they've been pressed and made some errors in recent games. Their last home game was against Brooklyn. They lost 4-1. The first goal was Morshe coming out, kicking the ball clear onto Garziano, and it went straight back into the net. The last goal was Brooks making a tackle, and it goes into the net. So they've had some crazy moments, and Tyrone Mears just sort of saying that maybe things will turn for the better. Oh, just leaving that a bit late there, Morshe, because it has been really tough for them, especially with that 4-1 loss against Brooklyn. Their XG was more than double that of Brooklyn's, and yet they lost 4-1. That's a real tough day at the office when the stats are in your favor, but just the luck of the game goes against you.
When we talked about it early on, Brooklyn was eliminated from playoff contention early this afternoon with a draw against Carolina Ascent. This ball lofted over the top. Corner kick for Dallas, but that win that they got over Fort Lauderdale that you were just talking about, the 4-1 win just a couple of weeks ago, that really rejuvenated that Brooklyn side and started a stretch for them where they started to see production in the final third. And for Fort Lauderdale, that was an uncharacteristic game for them. There were some goals, like you mentioned, just not normal that you see from this side. I know Tyrone Mears had said, I don't think I've ever been a part of a game like that before. So this Fort Lauderdale team, they're looking to put some goals in the back of the net, especially with the playoffs on the line and just one game left after this one. Tati Fung denied by Amber Brooks.
Yeah, and that bad luck just feeds into those stats we gave earlier. Just one win in the last 8 after no losses in the previous 8. They've just, the soccer gods have left Fort Lauderdale United for the time being. They're hoping they're coming back soon. And it's similar for Dallas. They've only had 1 win in 5, back-to-back losses. Before that, they had 4 wins in 5. So both these teams are coming off bad patches, which had followed very good patches. And I think when a coach, I'm sure Pauline McDonald agrees with Tyrone Mears, sometimes you're like, well, What is it we have to do? Why does it change? Now, it can be injuries, it can be key players, it can be form, it can be 101 different things. But as a coach, you're scratching your head trying to find that elusive thing that makes your team play well, because you know they have played well in the recent past.
McNeil on the ground. Sabrina McNeil coming off a great game on Tuesday against DC Power. She scored the equalizer, and it was just a tough, gritty, extra effort goal. Tyrone Mears loved to see it, said it was fantastic effort. Sabrina McNeil had a little bit of a slow start to the season, was dealing with some injuries, and said her performances were a bit up and down, but this past month, she's looked really good, according to Coach Mears, looking more like herself, he said.
It was a good finish, that goal against DC Power. Long ball out from Moshe, the length of the pitch. And she muscles off the center back, gets on the ball, puts it past Aquino, and gets them the draw away at DC Power. So those are the moments where if you can pop up, although she was a left back, she was pushed into a left wing position, so she was an attacker. But again, if you're getting goals from your left back come left winger, you'll take that every day of the week.
Allie Thornton nearly intercepts that ball across the back line from Cameron Brooks. A turnover, Allie Thornton there. Abogagoo, Strawn, Tati Fung. And just her third start, making an impact in the midfield. So a yellow card shown to Celie Strawn after that collision with Addie McCain.
It was a crunching tackle, and more these days, you've got to stay on your feet. The moment you slide, if you don't get the ball and get it cleanly without getting the other player, you're in trouble with the referee, and just saw that coming. Addie McCain turned the ball away from Celie Strawn, got her body between Strawn and the ball, and not only drew the foul, but drew the yellow card as well. So the youngster will have to be careful from now on. Celie Strawn, just 17 years of age. Huge credit to her to be playing at this level at that young age.
The Super League providing so many great opportunities for these young players to get professional minutes at such a young age, 17. Beyond impressive.
And you do get the sense that it's all changing in the US for youth soccer, especially with the end of the draft system. Now players don't necessarily have to go to college to become professional players. They can turn pro at 14, 15, 16, and obviously there's restrictions on how they do it at that young age, but they can do what has always been the system in Europe, is you make it a profession, and you can choose early on to make it a profession. I think we're going to see more and more quality players coming through, maybe from areas that wouldn't produce college kids, but you know, have wonderful natural skills. And I just think there's a great future ahead for the US women's national team.
Absolutely.
More and more great talent will be seen in the next decade or so.
Cheyenne Allen, can she track this ball down? She does, but called offside.
Just put all that hard work in. She's thinking, couldn't you just blown when I was halfway there, then I could have saved myself
Those
the
are the
energy.
worst moments, right? You get all the way down there, and then you're called offside. Help her out. Call it earlier. Save those legs.
Look, it's not bad to go very vertical as they're doing here. You know, take the chance, go direct. You got pace from Cheyenne Allen. She's very, very quick. But obviously it's her job to stay onside. It's her job to keep an eye on the defenders and just stay goal side of them. So in that case, she probably just switched off for a moment or two.
Well, and we'll revisit it. Fort Lauderdale, Tyrone Mears told us they want to attack those wide spaces and those direct balls. You could see there wasn't anyone out there in that wide channel except for Cheyenne Allen, playing with that 3-back that Dallas does. It's one of the areas where they can be exploited. Lancaster heads it up to Tamara. Love this battle on the near side. Tamara. Pastor collects. Cheyenne Allen met with Amber Brooks. Throw in for Fort Lauderdale.
Don't get much time on the ball here. As soon as Cheyenne Allen got that ball, she was pounced on by Amber Brooks. That's where the one-touch football can be so important. If you can just play one touch, you don't have to fight for the ball so much. The ball does the work. It moves so quickly, players can't close you down.
Deborah Abiodun called for the foul. When we talk about these young players getting great opportunities, and we have to mention the national team call-ups from this Dallas side. Deborah Abiodun herself called up to the Nigeria women's national team, and then Evan Osteen named to the US U17 women's national team, and Celie Strawn to the U20 US team. So again, a couple of these young players getting those marks up in the national stage. '20th minute here at Beyond Bankard Field at NSU. Gary Bailey, Bridget Howard with you on the call this evening. Dallas Trinity, if they can pull out a win here on the road, they will clinch a spot in the playoffs. Last weekend, Carolina Ascent clinched with their draw versus Tampa Bay Sun. They are the #1 seed for the inaugural USL Super League playoffs. Tampa in that draw also secured a playoff spot, but still waiting on their seeding.
It is important for Dallas to get something out of this match, because their last match is against Carolina Ascent, the champions, and they'll be wanting to be in good form going into the playoffs, so thinks they'll take that very seriously. And should they lose here today, then if they lose to Carolina Ascent in the final match, there's a good possibility that with the draw between Spokane and Fort Lauderdale, they would be out. So you don't want to leave it to that final match against a very good Carolina Ascent team. You'd rather try and do the job here today if they can.
So many different scenarios here in the USL Super League. As these games wind down, we inch closer to the playoffs. If you listen to USL Super League Game Week, hosted by Anna Whitty and Marion Crowder, they talked all about it this week. They had a bunch of different scenarios going. Fort Lauderdale clears it out of their half. Locklear with 2 defenders on her. Throw in on the way. Brooks with the high kick. Amber Brooks started and played in every game for this Dallas Trinity side this season. 3 goals, 2 assists to her name. Also 7 yellow cards, something to keep an eye out on. So a free kick for Fort Lauderdale. Tati Fung with the set piece duties this evening. No chance there as it goes out of bounds.
It's a waste of an opportunity, isn't it? If you knock it shorter, there's a chance someone can flick it on, but you knock it long, it just goes straight out. Nobody gets a chance to get on the end of it. That'll be frustrating for the coaching staff, Tyrone Mears and company.
This is Fung's 18th appearance on the year, just her 3rd start. Filling in for Felicia Knox, who normally handles all of the set pieces for this Fort Lauderdale team. It's a lot of responsibility right off the bat being inserted there. But that has to be exciting also to know that you're called upon in those moments, but you have to make the most of it.
100% you do. It's your opportunity. Coaches will always say that when their top players are out. They'll say, well, it's an opportunity for someone to come in and show what they can do. And coaches are they're very much about living in the moment. You play well, there's a chance you'll play next week. They just want to pick form players who they think can win them the game. So it's up to you to go and show that you're that person.
That and also riding the hot hand is certainly something to note as well.
Certainly Pauline McDonald will be wanting something more from her team than she's had the previous couple of games. Against DC Power 2 weeks ago, they were 2-0 up. Ended up losing 3-2. She was upset about that, how they gave that away, how they didn't finish it off in the first half when they had a ton of chances.
Avogagu works her way around her defender. Lovely defending from Julia Grasso. But a corner kick now for Dallas Trinity. They're first on the night. All the way from the back line, Jenna Walker will take this corner. You can't miss her with her staple green headband in every match. Walker plays it in. Got a head on it from Tamara, but goes wide.
That's a good chance for Tamara. She hasn't got anybody on her shoulder. You know, she's shaking her head ruefully because it's difficult angle to get it on target, but when there's no one pushing and shoving you, you should at least hit the target, make Moshe work. Look, she gets away from her marker and just gets it wide of that far post. I'd rather get it on target at or towards the goalkeeper rather than try and squeeze it in the far corner, because if it comes quickly enough for Moshe, it's still a very difficult header to deal with.
Well, and even that, just getting a second chance in the box is better than it rolling out of bounds.
100%, because the goalkeeper might not hold on to it. She pushes it out. Somebody's there to pounce. Whereas you try and squeeze it in the corner, you're trying to get the perfect header. Looks great on TV, but 9 times out of 10, you miss the target. I'd rather go for the safe option, make the goalkeeper work. I was just talking a moment ago about the frustrations for Pauline McDonald with the last match being 2-0 up against DC Power and losing. The previous one, they lost to Tampa Bay Sun. They had an extra player from the 25th minute onwards and couldn't come away with anything. And I think those are the sort of games that frustrate a coach, that make you wonder, what is it that we need to change?
Shania Gordon working around her defender. Gordon, Locklear, goal. How about that build-up from Fort Lauderdale United? Kiara Locklear with her 5th goal of the season.
And beautifully made by Shania Gordon. She did a lot of the hard work there, getting into the box, just squaring it to an unmarked Kiara Locklear, who just tucks it into the far corner. She plays the ball initially, Locklear, but look at the work that Shania Gordon does. Gets in there, cuts back now, looks up, and draws the defender, and that leaves Locklear on her own. Again, beats one, draws the central defender there, plays it to Locklear. She tucks it in the corner, and she started. So together, they combine to score a vital goal for Fort Lauderdale United, and...
Give me that backflip. I love that. Kiara Locklear, give yourself a round of applause. Fort Lauderdale United up 1-0. In the 27th minute. And Tyrone Mears had talked to us this week just about this offense and how there had been some uncharacteristic tendencies with this offense the last couple of games when it's come to making the wrong decisions in front of net. They know their roles, they know what they're supposed to do, but maybe they're taking an extra touch. Maybe they're not getting the best look on goal, but there. Just a clinical finish. Shania Gordon does such a great job separating from her defender, targeting Locklear, and she finishes.
Locklear getting a yellow card for her troubles here. Obviously all the adrenaline and pumped up. Again, that sliding tackle, we talked about it a few minutes earlier, got to be so careful to get the ball. She doesn't, and even if you get the ball, if you get the player as well, you'll still probably pick up a yellow. So now she had to tread carefully. But you were talking about players who'd missed goals. Locklear had got through so many times, you mentioned it earlier. And I think 4 times in the last 2 matches, she's been through one-on-one without beating the keeper. So happy for her now that she's got a goal, and it's a crucial goal for her side as well.
That Fort Lauderdale United goal scored by Kiara Locklear in the 27th minute is brought to you by Baptist Health. Big one for Locklear in this Fort Lauderdale side. Can they add to their lead?
Good work there from Cheyenne Allen. Just closing down on that flank, making it difficult for Dallas Trinity to put attacks together. They always say you're the most vulnerable 5 minutes after you score, and that's why you want those sort of tackles. You want to close down the opposition and have a go at them. Why not?
Locklear with space. Locklear deflected by Hinson.
She's got that burst of pace. Once she gets going, she's very difficult to keep up with. I think she's going to be giving the Dallas Trinity defense a lot more headaches before this match is over.
No doubt about it. I called her the Energizer Bunny. She is not going anywhere. Her batteries are charged tonight.
And while Fort Lauderdale can't make the playoffs tonight, it has to go down to the final match of the season. A win today, a good performance. It's good for confidence. It keeps Dallas Trinity close as well, so it just helps them in that final game. There's a lot of reasons why they would want to win here today, but it will nonetheless still go down to that final match away against Spokane Zephyr.
Madison White in traffic. Ember Brooks has to send it back. So just as we saw that high press from Dallas in Fort Lauderdale's half of the field, now here's Fort Lauderdale doing the same.
Just to add one extra thought to that conversation about what happens if Fort Lauderdale United win, they might not have to win at Spokane Zephyr rather, if Dallas lose their final match against Carolina Ascent. So that's another little sort of positive thing in your favor should Fort Lauderdale United win today.
Grosso up in the attack. Through ball. Grosso cuts it back again. Headed out by Dallas, but Addie McCain sends it back towards goal. Over the crossbar and over the fence.
Addie McCain, such a good player. This is a very difficult ball to hit first time. It's coming at you at pace, and you got to hit it. You got to sort of get behind the ball and hit it on the half volley. Look how she sort of has to step back a little bit and then try and get over the ball and keep it down. Extremely difficult technique and comes very close to pulling it off.
Tyrone Mears was really pleased with Addie McCain's performance the last time that these two teams met in Dallas. It was a 1-1 draw. She wasn't able to get on the score sheet, but she was able to get a lot of touches in that midfield. She was able to dictate play, and he thought that it was arguably one of her best games of the season. But we talked about it. Can she get in the scoring column tonight and get back to her scoring ways? She has 10 goals and 2 assists on the year, but as you talked about, she hasn't scored in a while.
She hasn't. She's still joined third overall in the Golden Boot, but that's from, as we were discussing, from last year, the first half of the season mostly. And in terms of chances created, she's joined third, and it's Ubagagu who's up there in second position for chances created. So one from each side as a chance creator, but you've got to finish them off.
Celie Strawn finds a pocket. Thornton at the top of the box, deflected. That is not an area where you want Allie Thornton to get the ball. So good job defensively from Fort Lauderdale. Cameron Brooks. Plays it back to Morshea. McNeil hoping to turn. So Kiara Locklear puts Fort Lauderdale up 1-0 in the 27th minute, her 5th goal on the year. Coming at the right time. Here she comes again. Fung plays it across. But Hinson able to pick it up and reset for Dallas. Two new outside backs for this Dallas side tonight.
And they certainly are being tested by Fort Lauderdale.
Locklear to Allen, and Allen, that first touch just gets away from her.
What a good chance there for Cheyenne Allen. She knew what she wanted to do was take the first touch, put the ball in front of her, but it just flew off her foot. If she could have just cushioned that, just focused a bit more attention on actually just cushioning the ball. She was already, I think, had the next move in her mind, which was sprint, get on the ball and finish it off. But first things first, just cushion the ball nicely. Then she was through on goal, 1-on-1. What a good chance there for Fort Lauderdale United.
Looking more and more like themselves here tonight is Fort Lauderdale. And it's worth mentioning, this is Cheyenne Allen's 4th start on the year, her 12th game overall. So there's also a bit of, okay, let's get adjusted to that gameplay. You can practice as much as you want, but there might be a couple of moments where you just got to get used to it.
I think that's a fair comment. She had 14 minutes against DC Power, just 5 against Lexington in recent games. So to your point, hasn't really got much time to get her eye in, to get a feel for the game. And this start will give her confidence. She's looked really sharp, but she does have that pace. And alongside Locklear, who's got pace as well. Suddenly, if you're a back three like Dallas Trinity, you've got problems. You've got players running at you, very quick players. And Shania Gordon, throw her in there as well. That front three are a real handful.
They certainly are. And Fort Lauderdale, again, we have to say it, they are without Jasmine Hamid and Felicia Knox, 2 players that have been a major part of this team this season. Jasmine Hamid has 9 goals. Felicia Knox is the queen of set pieces for this side. So a bright sign for Fort Lauderdale, the fact that they were able to get on the board early without those 2 key pieces.
Absolutely, that's what you want. You want some depth in your squad. By the way, I don't know if you saw there, the referee, Sean Tahini, just discussing getting a drink with the bench. Got to mention to folk that it was over 90 degrees in Fort Lauderdale today. And even in the evening, what would it be, about 78-ish, round about there? That's a warm condition in which to play soccer. I was watching my granddaughter play at midday today in Fort Lauderdale. Poor little Mia Bella was sweating in that 90-plus degree heat.
Yeah, that had to be a scorcher. Dallas Trinity hasn't been able to find much of a rhythm offensively in this first half.
They haven't, but there's still a long way to go. And obviously a halftime pep talk from Pauline McDonald might change things, along with a few coming off the bench perhaps. But even a draw today will be something for Dallas. It won't confirm their place in the playoffs, but it'll keep Fort Lauderdale down below them, and that's going to be to Dallas's advantage.
Thornton tracking way back. Maddie McCain trips her, and it'll be a restart. Dallas Trinity, in their last 5 matches, they have 1 win, 3 losses, and a draw. And despite being the first team to 10 wins this season, they've been on a 2-game skid, and they've also had a little bit of a break leading up to this match. Pauline McDonald telling us, you always want your team to be at 100%. Those days off, that rest without a game, certainly important.
And it could be to their advantage in the second half. It's 2 weeks since they last played. I think it's 3 or 4 days since Fort Lauderdale United last played.
Allie Thornton staying on her feet, finding Tamara. Strawn, Abogugu on the ground. Oh, Tamara just misses wide. She wants that one back.
Does she ever want that one back? All the hard work has been done. What a lovely move across the box here. Abogugu puts it into a perfect position. I think it's harder to miss than score, to be honest. And she's done so well, Tamara, in this match in terms of creating problems. She gets into the perfect position. She's 3 yards out with the entire goal open. Goalkeeper Morshe's at the near post. And she misses the target. And we're just saying, even though it's been a tough half for Dallas Trinity, just takes a moment like that. You hit the back of the net, you're back in the game.
Tamara, it looked like she had beat McNeil on that far side, but not able to point her foot inwards. Goes wide. Great opportunity from Dallas Trinity. And it all started with how quickly they were able to work the ball from one side of the pitch to the other.
They did that brilliantly from that right side, just knocking it across. Celie Strawn with a good ball out to Abogugu, and she knew where Tamara was. She put it in perfectly into the box. If you give Tamara that ball again, she'll score 9 out of the 10. I mean, it's harder to miss than score, but for some reason, maybe she saw the goalkeeper coming across and try to sort of tuck it into the corner, but really, what a fantastic chance.
Amber Brooks to the feet of Hinson. Hinson on the ground. Morshe scoops it up. Sierra Hinson making her 13th start. The former University of Texas star, 2018 Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. She's been used in a number of ways for this Dallas side, whether it's off the bench as a sub or in the starting lineup. She's been a reliable player for Pauline McDonald.
Maddie White hasn't had that much to do. I mean, there's been stuff happening around her and in front of her, but hasn't been called upon to make too many saves. Unfortunately for her, she can't add to the 9 clean sheets she has, which is the best in the league. She's also joined 3rd with the saves, number of saves she's made, so she's been kept busy in many matches, but in a strange way, not in this match, and yet it's been a match in which Fort Lauderdale have looked by far the most dangerous side.
And we've had this conversation before. It's one thing for a goalkeeper to have a certain number of saves, but to combine that with the number of clean sheets that she's had as well shows that she's been tested, but she's done a nice job at keeping it out of the goal.
Yes, it's an interesting combination. Normally clean sheets come with low number of saves, but to your point, she's probably been kept busy in a lot of matches.
Corner kick for Dallas Trinity. All corner kicks tonight presented by All Year Cooling and Plumbing. Abogugu ready to take the set piece, but Celie Strawn standing there for the short option. Abogugu into the box, punched out by Morshe. Dorsey heads it back in and collected by Morshe. Gary, as a former goalkeeper, that was pretty nice.
It was good because she had to come over a lot of bodies to punch that ball. She gets a decent punch, not far enough, but sometimes you can't when there's too many players in front of you, but she gets up nice and quickly to grab the second ball. And that just shows great agility to hit the ground, get straight back up. Great bravery to come over the top of 4 or 5 heads and try and punch that one clear.
Fort Lauderdale was hoping to capitalize on the counterattack. Dallas hoping for the same. Tamara on the near side, cutting it in. Cameron Brooks with the big time deflection. Lancaster. Tripped up by McNeil.
Lancaster does well there just to initiate the contact, so to speak. Make sure there's a bump, make sure she goes down, a little bit of trickery. And now it's a free kick in a very good position.
Morshea directing traffic. Abogugu, no surprise on this ball. A bit of an interesting spot on the field. More like a short cross.
It's one in which if you bend it towards the goalkeeper, it just needs the faintest of touches or no touch, and it can cause the goalkeeper all sorts of trouble. So let's see if that's what she intends to do here, sort of a cross-come shot.
They call that a shoss.
You're just setting a new trend.
I know. I gotta make you laugh somehow, Gary. Fort Lauderdale up 1-0. Can Dallas equalize here? Abogugu towards goal. Saved by Morshea.
She did more or less what I thought she would do, but she got it too close to the keeper. If it was a couple of yards further out, it would have skimmed the heads of the forwards before it got to Morshea, and that would have caused the keeper all sorts of decisions that she had to make, all sorts of problems. In the end, it just went straight through to Morshea.
1 minute of stoppage time, but looks like that'll be the end of the first half.
I think it was too hot.
A little bit of confusion there.
I just decided to end it a touch earlier.
So it's confirmed that's the end of the first half. Fort Lauderdale up 1-0 thanks to Kiara Locklear. She picks up her 5th goal on the season thanks to Shania Gordon weaving her way around the box. It was her 3rd assist of the year. Gary, your initial thoughts on this first half?
Good first half of Fort Lauderdale United, no question. The better side, more incisive, had more opportunities, but they're only 1-0 up. And Dallas Trinity showed with their chance for tomorrow that they can very quickly get back on level terms. So plenty of exciting soccer still to come in the second half.
We're joined now by Kiara Locklear, the goal scorer here in this first half for Fort Lauderdale. Kiara, thanks for joining us. Your 5th goal on the year. This is a side that struggled to find the back of the net in recent games. Walk us through the goal and how you were able to find the back of the net.
I think it's just a bit of selflessness from Shania. She had a clear look at the goal, but decided to slot it across on an open net, and that's how we found the back of the goal. So very much a team effort and just a testament to just the togetherness and unity that we're trying to form going into our playoff push.
And Kiara, for the second half, what do you think you need to do to seal these 3 points?
Not let them score a goal. So I think working hard on defense is going to be what matters the most. And then obviously if we can get another goal, that'll just be icing on the cake.
Kiara, thanks so much for joining us. We'll let you get to the locker room.
Thank you.
Kiara Locklear with her 5th goal, coming at a timely moment for Fort Lauderdale United as they continue their playoff push. Fort Lauderdale up 1-0 here at the break. We've got much more coming for you here at halftime. How about that flip? Hope to see more of it here in the second half. Stick with us.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
Clark launches this ball and finds the winner. Oh, what a play! It's a bending effort.
Caitlin Clark, amazing at assists. Gainbridge, the ultimate assist for your savings. But ever since they teamed up, she's taken assisting to a whole new level. Caitlin Clark, great at assists. Gainbridge, great at assists for your savings.
With over 2 decades of experience in the payment industry, Beyond Bankcard is more than just a payment processor. We are a partner dedicated to your success. Our mission is simple: to provide innovative, flexible payment processing solutions tailored to meet your needs.
We partner up with various companies, restaurants, retail, smoke shops, convenience store, you name it, we have the POS system for it.
Whether it's tools we provide or the relationships we nurture, Beyond Bankcard is here to power your payment solutions.
What does it mean to feel welcome? To not only be cared for, but to be cared about, to trust. At Baptist Health, this is the warmer side of care. So welcome to being treated with a human touch, where your best interest is our best interest. Here, we advance innovation and treatments through research while educating the next generation of experts close to home. Welcome to the warmer side of care. Welcome to Baptist Health.
Nobody wants a new roof, but when a storm hits, it's about protecting what matters most. With over 30 years of experience and 3 generations of roofing professionals, Florida Coast Contracting and Roofing is the name families trust to safeguard their homes. No matter the size, scope, or style of the project, Florida Coast Contracting and Roofing brings unmatched expertise, precision, and care to every single roof we touch. Our family, here for your family, every step of the way.
Tonight's halftime is presented by iHeartRadio. At the break, Fort Lauderdale United up 1-0 over Dallas Trinity. Dallas hoping to get a win here and clinch a playoff spot, but right now looking in favor of Fort Lauderdale United. Well, it's been a busy week in the USL Super League. Here's a look at the news and notes. Carolina Ascent clinched the inaugural USL Super League Players' Shield last weekend, and Tampa Bay Sun, they also clinched a spot in the playoffs with that draw.
2 down, 2 to go to see who makes those playoffs. That's why tonight's match is such a huge one.
It is, and then we talked about Celie Strawn. We have to mention Emma Johnson from Lexington as well, named to the US U20 national team roster. Such exciting times for these young stars in the Super League. Well, every Wednesday, listen to USL Super League Game Week, a deep dive into all things Super League with hosts Marion Crowder and Anna Whitty. Follow along all season on the SiriusXM app.
The Carolina Ascent are USL Super League Players' Shield winners. What went right in year 1 to get the first ever trophy? Plus, we break down all the potential scenarios as we head into Decision Day.
Ascent's Riley Parker also joins the show. She talks about her decision not to wear a cowboy hat in the latest NASCAR Gamebridge outing and what it would mean to win the double in this inaugural season.
Tonight's out-of-town scores are presented by Delta Airlines, and we talked about it. Brooklyn, their draw with Carolina eliminated them from playoff contention, and right now, Tampa Bay Sun up 1-0 over DC Power. If the score stands in our game right now, if Dallas loses and Tampa Bay wins, Tampa Bay will clinch the number 2 seed and host a playoff game, Gary.
Well, lots of work then for Dallas Trinity to do here today to stop that from happening. They've got a second half still. They're only 1-0 down. Lots to play for Dallas Trinity.
Loads of time left. The fans want to see more goals. So do we. Kiara Locklear gave us a beauty in the first half. It's 1-0 Fort Lauderdale United here at the break. Stick with us. We've got more coming your way. Halftime stats, highlights, and more coming shortly.
Fans, it's time to announce the winner of tonight's 50-50 raffle. A big thank you to everyone who participated. Half of the total jackpot is going to one lucky fan, and the other half supports the amazing charity project we serve. And now get ready to check your tickets. Tonight's winning number is 375. 375. If that's you, head on over to the go in front of our supporter section to claim your prize. Congratulations, and thank you for supporting a great cause. Once again, winning number 375. Make your way on down right now. Please, we got an exciting announcement. It's time to reveal the winner of our 4-hour luxury yacht outgoing. Everyone who purchased a ticket to tonight's game was automatically entered into the raffle. And now one lucky fan is about to cruise in style. Congratulations to Michael Sam! You just won an unforgettable day on the water. Please head on over to the VIP area next to the supporter section to claim your prize and get all the details. Congratulations, Michael.
Back at Beyond Bankard Field at NSU, Gary Bailey, Bridget Howard with you this evening. Tonight's halftime presented by iHeartRadio. It's 1-0 Fort Lauderdale United thanks to a Kiara Locklear goal, her 5th of the year. Well, tonight's halftime highlights are brought to you by Blue Water Books and Charts. In the first 7 minutes of this match, Fort Lauderdale United had 3 corner kicks, and this one just misses.
That was a header from Cameron Brooks. It hits the crossbar, drops. Sabrina McNeil tries to force it into the back of the net. No luck. And then the big moment, Shania Gordon, brilliant run, cuts inside, sets up Kiara Locklear, who first times it into the far corner. Brilliant goal from Fort Lauderdale United.
3rd assist from Gordon, Locklear's 5th goal. And they talked about that team effort, the unity they're trying to play with heading into the playoffs. And they're certainly showing it in this first half.
Some lovely little interplay, creating opportunities down this right-hand side. Ball gets chipped in here, and as it comes out, Addie McCain has a chance to half volley that just goes over the crossbar.
Dallas Trinity started to find their footing towards the end of this first half, and this was their best look here.
It's a beautiful ball in from Obagugu there. And at the far post, Tamara, it's more difficult to miss, I think, than to score, and she knows it. She can't believe it.
Tonight's halftime stats are presented by Beyond Bankard. What stands out to you here, Gary?
It's very, very close. Shots on target, just one each. There's not much to choose between them. They've both been in the opposition box same amount of time. Yes, Dallas Trinity have more possession, but none of it really hurting Fort Lauderdale United. I think Fort Lauderdale United have been the sharper of the two teams, but that one chance for tomorrow at the end really should be 1-1 at half time. So it just shows you that Dallas Trinity could turn this match on a dime if they want. Let's see how they do in the second half.
Dallas Trinity desperately wants to clinch a playoff spot here this evening if they can get a win. But Fort Lauderdale is going to have something to say about it. They're up 1-0. Tonight's halftime presented by iHeartRadio. Second half coming your way next.
Your go-to for full-service marketing, media, and creative solutions, helping businesses shine just like our team on the pitch tonight.
Gary, what do you imagine those conversations were like at the break for both of these sides?
I think for Dallas Trinity, it would have been a harder conversation, a little bit more aggressive. They need to get into this game. They need to make things happen. They did have that one great chance with Tamara's header, but other than that, not much. And I'm pretty sure Pauline McDonald would have revved them up a little bit.
Bogugu almost picked up that loose ball, but lost her footing instead.
Doesn't help at the start of the first half, but nonetheless, I expect to see Dallas Trinity come out second half and be a lot more aggressive and direct. For Tyrone Mears, it's a case of keep doing what you're doing, Fort Lauderdale, and as Kiara Locklear so succinctly put it, don't concede. If we don't concede, we win the game. But that's referee Sean Tahini. She said she raised her hand to suggest there was a handball. Have a look at it here. Just there, perhaps. Or was it there? Not quite sure which of the two, but either way, referee's blown for the handball. That's it. But nice little move down that right-hand side. So a sharper looking Dallas Trinity as we start off the second half. And if you look at the stats and the touches in the opposition box, it was just 8 for Fort Lauderdale United and 9 for Dallas Trinity in the first half. It's not a lot. Those are very low figures. So it does suggest there's been a lot of possession around the fringes of the box, but neither goalkeeper's really been tested, not enough getting in the box. That would be something that from Tyrone Mears, I'm saying to Kiara Locklear and Shania Gordon, get in the box. That's where the goal came from. Shania Gordon got in the box, had a great run, showed some wonderful skills. Good finish from Locklear.
Strawn tests the back line for Fort Lauderdale, Bogugu. No choice but to clear it out. A throw in for Dallas Trinity. Lancaster, picked off by McCain. You talk about the keepers and how they haven't been tested a whole lot. Is that maddening for a keeper, though, if you're Madison White and you haven't been tested a lot, but the one time you were, it results in a goal?
Yes, very much so. That's the thing that keepers hate most. Inactivity, and then when you get called to do something, you have no chance. You want to be involved. I mean, it's a mixed thing. You want to be involved, but you don't want to be involved in opportunities that are too easy for the opposition. So you want your defense to keep people, the opposition, out 20, 25 yards. You're making comfortable saves from that distance. Nice saves for the picture gallery at full length. You don't want to be stopping things from 3-4 yards out, because those are obviously very difficult to do, and generally they hit the back of the net. So it depends on the sort of pressure you're under, but for Seth Morchet, if she can keep a clean sheet, it'll be her 7th of the season, just 2 behind Maddie White, who currently holds the top position jointly with 9 clean sheets.
McCain boots this ball up the field. It'll roll out of bounds. Nice throw in from Dallas. Tamara plays this ball across the box of Bogugu. Abiodun. Brooks. Lancaster. Cleared out.
This is a good spell of pressure from the visiting side. Didn't see much of this or as much of this in the first half, but they've come out second half fired up here. And as I say, I'm sure Pauline MacDonald gave them a bit of a rousing halftime talk.
Thornton with her back towards goal. Looks for Lancaster. Fung finds Locklear. Can Locklear turn on the Jets? She can't. She's fouled by Walker.
It's that pace of Locklear again. She is so quick with the ball at her feet. That's the amazing thing. It's not just her pace, it's her ability to run at pace with the ball. And that's always going to cause centre-backs all sorts of problems.
Jenna Walker, the Kansas City native, played at Notre Dame and TCU. Shania Gordon, Tati Fung, recycles Fung.
It was a good ball in by Fung, whipped in, nice height. They were lucky to get that one cleared without any damage, Dallas Trinity.
Dallas, it's Tamara with the Jets. Tamara sends it towards goal. Looked like it deflected off one of those Fort Lauderdale defenders. But a save for Morche. Dallas Trinity has come out on the front foot in this second half. Tamara keeps it in. McNeil has the pace of a forward, a winger, but the way she's able to defend, just as impressive. And we've got a sub now. A change in faces for Tyrone Mears. Delaney Lindahl will get her first minutes of the day. She's in for Julia Grasso.
She came on the last match against DC Power, had 25 minutes, Lindahl, and helped rejuvenate the side and help them get back to drawing level and taking a point away from Washington.
A long switch. Looking for Gordon.
Just wonder now whether Pauline MacDonald will be looking at her bench thinking, do I make any changes? Does she bring on the likes of Ati Paloma, who was carrying a little bit of an injury, which is why she didn't start today? Lucy Shepherd, perhaps? Because she has to get the goal. She has to do something to try and help her team at least get a draw out of this, if not a win.
We've had many of conversations with Pauline MacDonald about the subs. They want to create a culture where everyone feels valued and they want to look after one another. And this Dallas side has dealt with a number of injuries this season, so that cohesion has become stronger because of that. Shania Gordon picks up the loose ball, plays it across the box, misses players. McNeil can't get a good look, sends it over the crossbar, but she had loads of time, Gary.
She did, and she tries the half volley and it doesn't come off. Shania Gordon once again causing problems out wide. Ball comes in, waits for it. It's spinning a little bit. It's a half volley shot. If her first touch had killed the ball stone dead, she would have really been able to set up nicely. But in the end, the ball's squirming all over the place and she just mishits that. And the problem for Fort Lauderdale United is as they miss these new chances and the chance to go 2-0 ahead, there's always the possibility that Dallas Trinity get one and take a draw away from this, which will still mean they have to go to Spokane next week, Fort Lauderdale United, and win if they want to get to the playoffs.
Through ball to Locklear. Flag stays down, Locklear misses wide. And they were hoping for the deflection. but a goal kick for Dallas Trinity.
And that should be a goal. The ball into her was a bit too long. It took her wide, and then she tries a shot which wasn't on. I think you could see Tati Fung in the middle with her hands held up. The much better option was to square the ball for Fung to have a shot in front of the goal. So all around there, another good opportunity wasted by Fort Lauderdale.
It was such a glaring stat that was in the game preview from the Super League leading up to this match here tonight. 35 shots, 11 shots on target, and just 3 goals to show for it in Fort Lauderdale's last 3 games. This is a team that at one point looked unstoppable in the final third, and they've struggled a bit, but tonight they look like they're more in form, back to their normal selves as Shania Gordon takes it up the near side, puts it across to the backside. Allen there, but deflected, and a goal kick for Dallas Trinity.
It's a decision making as you get into that final third that hasn't been as good as Coach Tyrone Mears would have wanted. That ball in there knocked to the far post. It was a player near post in the middle. There wasn't anyone at the far post. Cheyenne Allen hadn't got there yet. So those sort of decisions, the one a few minutes ago, the ball played to Locklear overhit when she was running right in on goal. Got to be more clinical around the box. It's the one time when your passing and control has to be at its absolute best.
Abby O'Doon was looking for Tamara, can't find her. Off by McCain. She sends it long, no one home but Madison White.
I think Maddie White coming this far out just because she's not got much to do. She's trying to get involved in the game. More and more keepers playing literally as a sweeper at times, which is all fine and good until somebody takes the ball off one of your defenders and you're 30 yards from goal, and then it's a case of trying to scramble back in time.
There's a look at Fort Lauderdale head coach Tyrone Mears, leading Fort Lauderdale in this inaugural USL Super League season.
Former West Ham player, played at Burnley, decent level, and was an academy coach at Inter Miami for a while.
Cheyenne Allen once again in the right spot, just can't get a good touch on it. There's Pauline McDonald at the helm for Dallas Trinity. They desperately want to walk away with at least a point in this match tonight if they can get back in it with an equalizer. Turned over, Locklear going towards goal and gets a mistouch, but Walker turns it right back to her, and White restarts quickly. So back and forth we go. Both teams trying to capitalize on counterattacks.
Tamara's still a threat down that right-hand side. They're trying to knock long balls over for her. She was voted into the Super League Team of April, Tamara. And if you had to pick one player from Dallas Trinity who's been the biggest threat, I would guess it would be her down that right-hand side.
And you talk about the Super League April Team of the Month. Tamara, Amber Brooks, Allie Thornton for Dallas, all named. And Addie McCain named the Team of the Month for April for Fort Lauderdale. Madison White waiting for Kiara Locklear to test her a bit more. She'll roll it out to Walker. Something to keep an eye out on. Dallas Trinity coming off extra days of rest. Their last game back on May 8th. Fort Lauderdale had 2 games this week. They played on Tuesday versus DC Power. So fresh legs versus a little bit of worn out legs.
Yeah, but then some coaches will say they'd rather be in the groove, playing regularly
100%.
and, you know, really focused in than just training for 2 weeks.
Strawn finds space. Thornton. Thornton faces up, plays it to the backside, headed out by McCain. Cheyenne Allen asking the crowd to get into it. Got a good crowd here tonight at Beyond Bankard Field at NSU. Through ball to a Bogagoo. Sabrina McNeil says no thank you. Goal kick for Fort Lauderdale United. But a couple of substitutions for Fort Lauderdale brought to you by Omega XL Sport. So Jorian Baucom and Thelma Hermansdottir on now in place of Cheyenne Allen.
Correction number 9, Dorian Baucom. Replacing number 11, Shania Norman. Also coming on, number 22, Thelma Hermansdottir.
So a change in faces up front for Tyrone Mears. Shania Gordon and Cheyenne Allen both to the bench. Thelma Hermansdottir and Jorian Baucom.
And it makes sense. They put in a real shift. Shania Gordon, who creates the goal, the only goal of the match, and Cheyenne Allen, who was really quick down that left-hand side. They've been working really hard as a first line of defense as well. So it makes sense to get fresh legs on. Now we wait to see how Pauline McDonald responds.
Tough foul just outside the box. Celie Strawn hits the deck, and it'll be a free kick for Dallas Trinity. This is a big moment for Dallas Trinity. Here's how it happened.
Locklear just trying to get a toe poke on the ball. There wasn't much contact, but the referee says enough for a foul. And fortunately for her, no mention of a second yellow card, which is where she has to be extremely careful.
Now Locklear picked up a yellow card in that first half, and that's her 7th of the year.
I think that's as much as anybody else has in the entire league. I think she's up there amongst the tops when it comes to yellow cards, alongside Amber Brooks, who also has 7.
Yep. I believe Claire Constant for DC Power, another one of those players that's up there with the yellow cards. Nonetheless, a big moment. Can they equalize? A Bogagoo. No opportunity there.
Yeah, the ball was a good few yards over the crossbar from a Bogagoo. Again, as a coach, you would want to see that dip down and at least make the goalkeeper work. Maybe you can follow up if the goalkeeper doesn't make the save, but that is just way, way too high.
Bogagoo has been dangerous on set pieces for Dallas Trinity this season. She's scored a handful of times. So a foul called just near the halfway point. Amber Brooks. You know she's always going to be aggressive, the tried and true player. The veteran leader for this Dallas side. Doesn't make it easy for any opposing midfielders. White punches it out. Lancaster beats one defender, but McNeil getting Came back quickly. Cameron Brooks has been a big part of this defense here this evening, making her 11th start. She's played in 16 games now. Balcom testing the defense. She came over mid-season from DC Power.
Locklear's got to be careful that she was involved there. Although it was Lindahl who really made the foul, you just don't want to be involved there anyway, Locklear, in case referee deems it was her and it's another foul, and you probably wouldn't get a second yellow for that, but you don't want to take too many risks with the referee.
Tamara just sandwiched in between Locklear and Lindahl.
In the end, Lindahl didn't have to lean in because Locklear had got in front of Tamara. This is the pressure that now starts to build from Dallas Trinity. They're a goal behind. Psychologically, teams can start to defend their lead. They don't really mean to, but they drop deeper. They think, okay, it's 23 minutes plus, and we're there, and instead of attacking, because if you allow Dallas Trinity to come at you, someone like a Thornton or a Tamara is going to find the back of the net. So it's not what you want to do, it's just what tends to happen towards the end of a match when you're leading.
Yeah, it's a fine line to walk, right? Because how early do you start to set back and really focus defensively, or do you continue what's worked and try to put the pedal to the metal, get it going offensively? But again, if you let Dallas come back into this one and they equalize, Dallas then has the momentum. So it's a fine line. That's why the coaches are paid the big bucks, right? So a substitute for Dallas Trinity. Tamara's day is done. She steps off, and Enzi Broussard, making just her 7th appearance this season, steps onto the pitch in her place.
Tamara put in a really good shift. She looked dangerous throughout the match. She was physically strong, and I think the coach has taken the decision, get her off now. She's got a bit of a bump. She's gassed anyway. Get her off and get somebody else on.
Henson throws it in. Dorian Balcom now up top for Fort Lauderdale, and Tyrone Mears has talked about how she gives them a different look. She really is that hold-up player who's able to collect the ball, wait for support around her, and she just provides a different look for them offensively.
I'd like to see her score goals though. 11 appearances. This is her 12th without a goal. And as a striker, yes, you can be good at holding the play up, and you can be good at being the first line of defense, but you've got to also chip in with a couple of goals once in a while. Maybe this is the match for her to do it.
Yeah, your ultimate responsibility is to score goals. Can she add to this Fort Lauderdale lead? We shall see. Lindahl was looking for Locklear. Lancaster. Lancaster slots this ball through to Thornton. Thornton puts it across the box. Oh, and what a look for Dallas Trinity. Celie Strawn just goes above goal.
That was a beautifully constructed pass into the box, and Thornton with the ball back. Celie Strawn coming in. They've had 2 great chances tomorrow, first half, and Celie Strawn now, where you've got to hit target. I'm not saying you have to beat the keeper. The keeper might make a save, but first and foremost, you have to get the ball on target. I know she's only 17, Celie Strawn, but seeing how good she is, I look at that and think she's got to do better.
Foul called as Allie Thornton gets tripped up. Looked like Sean Tahini. Carded Cameron Brooks, so a yellow to Brooks. Another free kick for Dallas Trinity.
A yellow card has been issued by the referee. 2 for Lauderdale, number 19, Cameron Brooks, in the 71st minute.
So another opportunity here for Dallas Trinity to equalize. Abogugu with Lancaster to her left. Lancaster into the box. Morshea reaches up and collects.
And there was a flag up anyway, so nothing would have come for Dallas Trinity even if Morshea hadn't got the ball, but well taken by the goalkeeper under all sorts of pressure there.
I like that decision from Dallas Trinity. Abogugu has taken a number of set pieces in this one. They haven't really resulted in anything. Give it to Lancaster, see if she can give a different look.
Bochum got what she wanted there, which was the throw-in, and then she just lent too much into the back of the defender and gave away the free kick. She put the pressure on, she got what she wanted out of it, and then just nudged Jenna Walker.
Thankfully not in a threatening area. Fort Lauderdale in this second half has given up a number of good looks to this Dallas side. Thankfully they haven't been able to capitalize on it, but certainly you would think Tyrone Mears would want this group to tighten up a little bit defensively, not give them so many opportunities.
And start by keeping a reasonable mid to high press here. You can see quite a few blue shirts, and there they have turnover balls. So try and put Dallas Trinity under the sort of pressure that you can do here, getting bodies there, making it difficult to play out, not allowing them to get to your half too easily. To be fair to Fort Lauderdale United, that's what they seem to be doing. Maybe Maddie White will just go long instead.
Every Wednesday, listen to USL Super League Game Week, a deep dive into all things Super League with hosts Marion Crowder and Anna Whitty. Follow along all season on the SiriusXM app. I listened to that episode on my walk today. Marion and Anna
They're
do
so
a great
good
job.
together, aren't they? They're fantastic.
Are. They wore hats this week on the podcast. It's a nice little touch. Do you have a cowboy hat, Gary?
My wife does. She wears them.
I was going to say, I'd be shocked, honestly.
She actually loves wearing them. They look really good. It's quite a fashion item.
Very
cowboy
much so.
hat.
Yeah, Riley Parker for Carolina Ascent got to go to a NASCAR race thanks to the Super League, and Anna and Marion were giving her a bit of a hard time as to why she didn't wear her cowboy hat. Cowgirl hat, I should say. Long ball from Morshea. So both of these teams just one game left of the season after tonight for the playoffs.
This next 15 minutes will define how that final day is. If Dallas can just get one back, they will remain ahead of Fort Lauderdale United. All the pressure on Fort Lauderdale going away to Spokane in their final match. If this result stays the same, Fort Lauderdale go above Dallas. Dallas come under pressure, and their home matches against the champions Carolina Ascent. So just getting a goal here would be priceless for Dallas Trinity, and not allowing them a goal would be priceless for Fort Lauderdale United.
Pauline McDonald is hitting the switch again. Deborah Abiodun out. Gracie Bryan, the Frisco, Texas native, in. Bryan has 3 goals on the year. This will be her 25th appearance. Can she make a difference offensively for this Dallas side? Long ball to the top of the box. Fort Lauderdale calling for a corner kick, and they'll get it. All corner kicks presented by All Year Cooling and Plumbing.
This is what Tyrone Mears will want. Keep that pressure on. Don't let Dallas Trinity come at you too much. Get them to defend rather than you. Easier said than done at this stage of the match, but they're doing it perfectly at this moment in time for Fort Lauderdale United. They've obviously got to keep it going right to the end of the game.
Their fourth corner kick of the night, Tati Fung. Will they add to their lead here? Fung. Cameron Brooks got a foot on it. No result.
It was worth a swing from the centre back. You know, the chances aren't that good that it hits the back of the net, but every once in a while it does. But her header first half was the one that hit the crossbar. That was a fantastic header. That's playing to her strengths there, and she was ever so close.
Beautiful ball played up to Allie Thornton. Oral Ansborough going to make it challenging. Goal kick for Fort Lauderdale.
Tyrone Mears just giving out more instructions there. Getting to the point where teams start playing possession football, just over 10 minutes left, and they want to work the clock down. So as you can see, no rush for Morshea and goals to take this. And generally speaking, the last 10 minutes when you're leading becomes a case of just trying to see the game out. For the opposition, it's the opposite. They're trying to speed it up and get the ball moving and get down the other end of the pitch.
Brian up to Obugagu.
She's been a constant threat. Obugagu, absolutely fantastic player. 4 goals, 5 assists throughout the season. That's, other than Allie Thornton, that's probably the most impactful player in the squad.
No doubt she's in the thick of that golden playmaker race. Jorian Baucom looking to slot the ball across, defended beautifully by Sierra Hinson.
Crucial by Sierra Hinson. Good pace to get back, and you don't want that ball sliding across the box. You never know what might happen. So good defending by Dallas Trinity.
So another corner kick on the way for Fort Lauderdale United. They've been busy in the corner this evening. All corner kicks brought to you by All Year Cooling and Plumbing. Fung sends it in. Brooks got up for it. How about those hops? Track down. They'll restart. And White with an easy come up. – 79th minute. Can Fort Lauderdale hang on to this lead, pick up a win at home? Misplayed by McNeil. Hinson into the danger zone. Not an easy one for Sealy Strawn. McCain and Lancaster, looks like they got tied up on that far side. A free kick coming for Dallas Trinity. And after that, Cameron Lancaster will step off, and we'll see Shadia Nankia. This will be her second game of the season for Dallas Trinity. She's played only 12 minutes.
That was against Brooklyn back in March. She was a good passer of the ball, strong in the air. As you can see, she's quite tall. And that's the threat she will be from set pieces. So this is, maybe she can make an immediate impact, get on the end of this free kick.
Obugagu once again into the box. Morshea out of net. Fort Lauderdale escapes a dangerous moment.
That's the worst moment in the world for a goalkeeper. You come for a ball, you don't get it, and then you end up just leaving an empty net, nothing you can do. Once she doesn't get there, she's in all sorts of trouble. Amber Brooks with a flick-on header, and that was very, very close to going in. It's a game of inches, as we say. That header just slightly different from Amber Brooks. It goes into an empty net, 1-1. And it's a totally different look going into the final games of the season for both these sides.
Sierra Hinson sees that ball roll out of bounds. Tyrone Mears wants to shake things up in the last couple of minutes. Celia Gaynor will come on for Taylor Smith, and Anele Kumani on for Tati Fung.
That's what you need, fresh legs. Last 8 minutes plus added time. You want them to run around, shut down Dallas Trinity, do the hard work, do the work that fresh runners can do, just to make it as difficult for the opposition as possible.
We've had some big matches today around the USL Super League, and right now Tampa Bay Sun is up 2-0 in the 77th minute. So if that score holds, if Dallas loses here, and if Tampa Bay wins, Tampa Bay will clinch the #2 seed and host a playoff game. Madison White sends a long ball forward. As time ticks away here at Beyond Bankard Field at NSU. Fort Lauderdale just 5-4-4 at home this season, looking to pick up their 6th win on their home pitch. Broussard can't get around McNeil. She earns Dallas a corner kick in the 84th minute. Bogagu, she's been busy on these set pieces tonight, Gary. This would be big.
She's been busy everywhere, and it is. But look at the numbers in the box now from Dallas Trinity. They're throwing everyone in. If you get caught on the counter-attack now, it doesn't really make much difference, 2-0, 1-0. But they're putting as many players as they can afford to put into that box.
Bogagu, the high arcing ball. McNeil headed it back in towards the center of the goal, but Morshea able to collect. Not the best clearance you want if you're Fort Lauderdale, but doesn't matter. Morshea comes up with it.
I think I saw the assistant rep put a flag up as well, so even if it had gone in from Jenna Walker, probably wouldn't have been allowed, but good pressure from Dallas Trinity. But so far not enough. 5 minutes plus added time, or thereabouts. They are very close, Fort Lauderdale United, to moving up above Dallas Trinity.
That was a great header from Locklear. But Baucom called offside. As this inaugural season winds down in the USL Super League, we're getting to the good parts. The playoffs are almost here. Carolina Ascent officially holds that #1 seed, home field advantage for the playoffs. And if this score stands and the Tampa Bay score stands as well, Tampa Bay Sun will clinch the #2 seed and host a playoff game as well.
Fort Lauderdale will go above Dallas Trinity. And that means that if Dallas lose their final match at home to the champions, Carolina Ascent, then neither Spokane nor Fort Lauderdale have to worry at all. They automatically will go through. But if Dallas does get a result against Carolina Ascent, then either Fort Lauderdale or Spokane will have to get a result in their match. So it could be a fantastic, or will be a fantastic last day of the season.
Lindahl plays it on the ground, up to Baucom. And you never know when you make the schedules at the beginning of the season, but man, has it played into our favor as fans as we get set for the playoffs. Locklear picks this ball up towards goal. White gets a hand on it. What a rip from Locklear.
Good strike from Locklear. Lovely tip over from Maddie White. Goalkeeper at full stretch. Ball just given away here a little bit cheaply by Gracie Bryan. Locklear just hits it. Whether it would have gone in or hit the crossbar, hard to see, but either way, good save from the goalkeeper. Good strike from Fort Lauderdale as they continue to put pressure on Dallas Trinity and make it difficult for Dallas Trinity to get that equalizer.
So a corner kick coming for Fort Lauderdale. They're going to keep it in the corner. Dallas Trinity just wanting to get it out of their half. Ninth minute here in South Florida. Fort Lauderdale hoping this score holds. They've got numbers back. Looks like Sierra Hinson got a limb from Jorian Baucom. A restart for Dallas Trinity. Ball into the box, headed towards goal, but Bryan misses wide.
That's another good chance. Yeah, you can see the face she pulls it. She knows that it should have at least forced Morche into a save. You got a header from 12, 13 yards out, nobody on your shoulder. You should be able to direct it on goals. And they're going to look back at these missed opportunities, Dallas Trinity. So they've got to take those chances, and if they don't, which they haven't so far, then they're going to end up going into that final game of the season having to get a result against the champions. Missed Tamara header in the first half that should have done better with. Just seen Bryan's header go wide. There's been one or two other chances as well. Sealy Strom, she had a great chance to get one in the back of the net. So it's not like they haven't had chances, Dallas Trinity.
Fort Lauderdale just trying to keep Trinity at bay for these last couple of minutes. We'll have 4 minutes of stoppage time. Extra soccer here on this Saturday night. Abogugu on the near side leads the league in crosses. Abogugu across net. big header from Sabrina McNeil.
That's a great header from McNeil. She's not the tallest of players, and she had to get up there at full stretch to make sure she got something on that. Brave defending and vital defending as well.
Goal kick for Cosette Morche. Morche has looked in great form here this evening. Locklear searching for Baucom. White way out. Good step from Maddie McCain. Locklear to Komani. Komani. Miscommunication with Baucom.
She tried to thread the ball through. Maybe she would have kept on running herself to get in the box and have a shot. But it was an unselfish move.
Cut back by Broussard. Abogugu beats Lindahl. Abogugu. She's been working hard on this near side. Baucom will hold this one up top. Send it to the corner.
She's done well, Baucom, since she came on. She's just been running, sprinting from side to side, closing everybody down, holding the ball up when she can. And it just helps her defense.
Hinson was hoping to keep it in, but sends a fan home with a souvenir.
Nearly took out our cameraman there for a moment. Looks like it's job done by Fort Lauderdale. They're just going to slow things down here again, and looking for a ball, are they? Well, it's been a really, really good job by the home side. Got the one goal. Should have had more. Normal technique or tactic of getting two balls on the pitch at once just to slow the game down. But probably all in all, you got to say, for me, Fort Lauderdale have just done enough to win the game. They've had more chances. They've been better balanced in that sense. Bogagu's been really, really good for Dallas Trinity, but other than that, they haven't created too many problems. Celie Strom with a really good chance. Maybe should have tucked it away tomorrow with a couple of chances, but for me, most of the chances fall into the home side. But what it does do, sets up one incredible final day next week.
Four minutes of stoppage time. We're nearing the end here at Beyond Bankard Field at NSU. Long ball seeking out Broussard. Will roll out of bounds. A throw in for Fort Lauderdale. This was a big time performance from Fort Lauderdale United, and it is official. Fort Lauderdale picks up a win at home, 1-0. Their playoff hopes continue. Well, Gary, let's look back at the best moments from tonight. Tonight's save of the game is presented by Omega XL Sport. Both keepers did a nice job tonight, but here's a look at the save of the game.
Deep ball into the box and well taken by Morche under all sorts of pressure. Look at the bodies around her, in front of her, and clattering into it, and she holds on to it perfectly.
Well, our performer of the game is Kiara Locklear. She had the goal early in the first half, and boy, was it a difference maker. We called her the Energizer Bunny, and that energy showed out in big ways for this Fort Lauderdale team tonight.
Yeah, crucial goal, well taken, first time hit, but I think she should give Shania Gordon a big hug for the way it was set up. Shania Gordon beating the one defender, drawing the centre back, and then just squaring it to Locklear, who was unmarked and able to find the corner of the net. So well-constructed goal by Fort Lauderdale United.
Yeah, Kiara Locklear, our performer of the game, brought to you by Baptist Health. As we get set for our interview post-game, Gary, would love to get your thoughts on this match overall. There were playoff implications for both sides. Fort Lauderdale still very much in the thick of it. With this score standing, they've now got 41 points. Dallas unable to clinch.
It gives Dallas a slightly bigger mountain to climb. They've got to get a result against Carolina Ascent. If they lose, they're out. And that would make it easy for Fort Lauderdale in their final match against Spokane. If they get a result, though, then it's a battle between Fort Lauderdale and Spokane for who goes through along with Dallas Trinity.
All smiles for Fort Lauderdale, thanks to Kiara Locklear. We've got more coming up for you right after the break.
On behalf of everyone at Fort Lauderdale United, we want to say an enormous thank you for being here tonight and throughout the entire season. This was our final regular season home game, and your support, your energy, your passion has fueled this team every step of the way. You are a vital part of this club. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for an unforgettable inaugural season. Thank you once again, Fort Lauderdale United fans!
Final score from beyond Bankard Field at NSU. It's Fort Lauderdale walking away with the 3 points, 1-0, thanks to Kiara Locklear. We're joined now by Addie McCain. Addie, great to see you. Congrats on the win. What does a win like this do for this team's confidence as you look to clinch a spot in the playoffs next week?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, we've obviously struggled this last half of the season, and so to get 3 points, our last game at home, it's huge for our confidence and for our group, yeah.
And Addie, as captain of the side and going into the playoffs, you hope, what do you have to do? What do you feel personally you can do to help them get there with the result against Spokane next week?
I think continue to give it all we have. Like, out there, it showed 11 girls who really, really wanted it bad. We didn't necessarily play prettier soccer than they did. They had quite a few chances, but we were busting our tails to block shots, be organized, and so for us, it's 11 people on the field who want to win.
Addie, a lot of smiles after this one. Does it almost feel like monkey off the back to be able to find the back of the net, get back to your scoring ways, and pick up a win at home?
It definitely does. It's a sense of relief. Yeah, like I said, this last half has been really rough for us, but we've continued to push, we've continued to fight, and it shows when we play unselfish soccer, we work together, good things happen, and so yeah, it does feel like a relief.
Well, good things happen tonight. Addie, thanks so much for joining us. Congrats on the win.
Of course, thank you.
All right, well, tonight's full-time highlights are presented by Blue Water Books and Charts. Fort Lauderdale got off to a quick start, and it was Shania Gordon with the cutback here, plays it across, and Locklear finishes.
Good finish by Locklear, but the work done by Shania Gordon to get in the box, to beat her defender, to then draw the central defender, leave Locklear on her own. And when she does pass her the ball, Locklear just simply picks that far corner where the goalkeeper is coming from and tucks it away.
And Dallas Trinity, at the beginning of the second half and really the end of the first half, they were able to find their footing a bit, and that missed opportunity from Tamara, one she wishes she had back.
Oh, huge. You've got to finish those from there, all 3 yards out. Thornton here just crosses this one. This is another one. This is Celie Strom. From a situation, yeah, she knows it right in front of the goals, 6-7 yards out. You missed the target. So tough there for Dallas Trinity.
We call her the Energizer Bunny for a reason. Locklear with that rip of a shot just missed in the final moments of this match. Well, tonight's full-time stats are presented by Beyond Bankcard. Fort Lauderdale, you know, really, when you look at the shots, they had less shots than Dallas Trinity by 1, but they're able to convert when it matters most.
They did. They converted the one they had. They held on to it. Dallas Trinity had 2 or 3 really good chances they didn't take, but then so too did Fort Lauderdale United. They created chances, but when you're 1-0 up, it's up to the opposition to come at you, get the equalizer. They couldn't break down the defense of Fort Lauderdale United, and as Eddie McCain said, they put everything on the line, Fort Lauderdale, to keep that goal and keep that clean sheet today.
So as it stands right now, Tampa Bay is up 2-0 in the 90th plus a minute. So if that score stands, Tampa Bay will clinch this 2 seed and host a playoff game. It's been an exciting week 34 in the USL Super League. Fort Lauderdale fans excited to watch their team get a win at home at Beyond Bankcard Field at NSU. It was a fun one tonight with playoff hopes on the line. It always makes these games that much more fun. Fort Lauderdale walks away with the win thanks to Kiara Locklear. From my partner Gary Bailey, I'm Bridget Howard. We've had a fun one with you tonight. So did Kiara Locklear. She gave us the flips. We'll see you next time.
Couldn't come away with anything. I think those are the sort of games that frustrate a coach, that make you wonder, what is it that we need to change?
Shania Gordon working around her defender. Gordon, Locklear, goal. How about that build-up from Fort Lauderdale United? Kiara Locklear with her 5th goal of the season.
And beautifully made by Shania Gordon. She did a lot of the hard work there, getting into the box, just squaring it to an unmarked Kiara Locklear, who just tucks it into the far corner. She plays the ball initially, Locklear, but look at the work that Shania Gordon does. Gets in there, cuts back now, looks up and draws the defender, and that leaves Locklear on her own. Again, beats one. Draws the central defender there, plays it to Locklear. She tucks it in the corner, and she started. So together, they combine to score a vital goal for Fort Lauderdale United, and...
Give me that backflip. I love that. Kiara Locklear, give yourself a round of applause. Fort Lauderdale United up 1-0.
I couldn't come away with anything. I think those are the sort of games that frustrate a coach, that make you wonder, what is it that we need to change?
Shania Gordon working around her defender. Gordon, Locklear, goal. How about that build-up from Fort Lauderdale United? Kiara Locklear with her 5th goal of the season.
And beautifully made by Shania Gordon. She did a lot of the hard work there, getting into the box, just squaring it to an unmarked Kiara Locklear, who just tucks it into the far corner. She plays the ball initially, Locklear, but look at the work that Shania Gordon does. Gets in there, cuts back now, looks up and draws the defender, and that leaves Locklear on her own. Again, beats one, draws the central defender there, plays it to Locklear. She tucks it in the corner, and she started. So together, they combine to score a vital goal for Fort Lauderdale United, and...
Give me that backflip. I love that. Kiara Locklear, give yourself a round of applause. Fort Lauderdale United up 1-0.
And couldn't come away with anything. And I think those are the sort of games that frustrate a coach, that make you wonder, what is it that we need to change?
Shania Gordon working around her defender. Gordon, Locklear, goal. How about that build-up from Fort Lauderdale United? Kiara Locklear with her 5th goal of the season.
And beautifully made by Shania Gordon. She did a lot of the hard work there, getting into the box, just squaring it to an unmarked Kiara Locklear, who just tucks it into the far corner. She plays the ball initially, Locklear, but look at the work that Shania Gordon does. Gets in there, cuts back now, looks up and draws the defender, and that leaves Locklear on her own. Again, beats one, draws the central defender there, plays it to Locklear. She tucks it in the corner, and she started. So together, they combine to score a vital goal for Fort Lauderdale United, and...
Give me that backflip. I love that. Kiara Locklear, give yourself a round of applause. Fort Lauderdale United up 1-0.
And couldn't come away with anything. And I think those are the sort of games that frustrate a coach, that make you wonder, what is it that we need to change?
Shania Gordon working around her defender. Gordon, Locklear, goal. How about that build-up from Fort Lauderdale United? Kiara Locklear with her 5th goal of the season.